Welcome back, painting friends. We're going to do another positive quote with some watercolors. What you're going to need is, I'm just using acrylic paint, but I'm going to turn it into watercolor. Red, orange, pink, blue, purple, and yellow acrylic paint. I always have my favorite brushes, my 1-inch flat brush, my 10-6 and 1 round brush, and a cup of water and a rag. And when we do like the positive quotes, you probably want to have Sharpies or pencils or something to help you with your words. So let's get started. Whenever I work on watercolors, I do put my canvas flat on my table so that the watercolors don't kind of drip and drift everywhere. So the phrase I'm thinking about using is stay close to people who feel like sunshine. So when I'm thinking about that, I'm already thinking about a sun. So I'm going to take some water using my number 10 round brush, just some plain old water, and make a nice big circle right in the middle of my canvas with that water. I'm going to take that yellow paint and just kind of let that yellow paint get into that circle area. You see how by adding just a little bit of water to my canvas helps that look like watercolor paint, and it's just acrylic. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and take some lines and pull them out on my canvas. Some of that yellow is kind of pulling out with it, and that's okay. So all I'm doing is just taking some water and making some lines on my canvas. Then from there, I can take some of these other brighter colors and just add a couple of spots of color. So first I've just got some pink. I'll wipe my brush off and grab maybe a little bit of orange and drop it in different spots. So I've got the pink, the orange, and the red. And then I'm just gonna take my brush, wipe it off with a little bit of water, and then I'm just gonna take some of those colors and just blend them a little bit into my sun area. This is really where the fun and the playing starts to happen, is when you start to get some of these colors mixed in here, and watercolors will essentially do their own thing. If you put water on your canvas, they're going to move around on their own. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab some watered down yellow paint. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my yellow. And I'm just going to kind of swirl this edge around again and maybe even pull it out a little bit bigger, letting those colors really kind of mix into that center. Take some water and put it on the edge of these so that they blend a little bit, going out into that open space. If you get a puddle of water and you think it's too much, you can always just take your rag or your towel and kind of pull some of that extra water up. You'll notice that some of the color will come with it, but it will blend back together. So I'm just going to kind of sop up some of this color with my rag. Take that paintbrush nice and clean. Just go ahead and swirl those colors around one more time. I am going to let this part dry before I move on to my next part. Stay tuned. With my background completely dry, I'm now going to go in and add a little bit of those blues and purples to the edge spaces right here. I'm just going to take a little bit of water and put them in any spot that is still kind of open and has some room for color. And I'm going to water down that purple and that blue. I'm just going to add those little specks in there. And you can choose if you want more purple or more blue, and have fun with it. But remember, we're working with watercolor. Well, you know, tempera paint that, or acrylic paint that wants to be watercolor. And so make sure you add some water with it, move it around. What I really love about the canvas and the watercolor acrylic is that it just gives it really beautiful lines as it starts to dry. And you don't really know what you're going to get until it's finished. Because as it dries, it kind of pools in different areas on these canvas panels. Just makes it beautiful. When you're finished, if you want to add a little bit of blue or a little bit of purple just to kind of change up the colors in a couple little spots, feel free to just play with that a little bit more. And then going back into the center of my sun right here, I'm going to take a little bit of this watered down yellow paint. So I'm not adding any more water to my canvas, just adding some water to my paint itself. And I'm going to make a circle, kind of bring that circle inward to the center. I just did a spiral inward. I might even grab a little bit of orange and mix it with that yellow. Just get a really, really, really nice light orange color. So it's mostly yellow, a little bit of orange. I'm going to do the same thing starting from the center and just kind of pulling out in a circular motion to that edge. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and just kind of make some lines that radiate around. With this, I'm barely letting my paintbrush touch my canvas and just be very, very, very light. Get some really light lines in there. I'm going to take a little bit of that magenta and a little bit of that purple, that dark pink and that purple color, and mix those together. Give her a little bit of blue in there to lighten it up just a little bit. I did too much blue. I'm just going to go right here along this edge. Kind of add a small line just along this edge to kind of pull those colors together. All right, I'm going to let this dry. When we come back, we're going to add in our words. Once it's dry, I have to decide which direction am I going to keep it. I can have it go this way, which is portrait. I can have it go this way, which is landscape. I think I kind of like it right here. So I'll take this and then I'll start with a pencil and I'll kind of write my words out with a pencil first so I know where they're going to go before I start with my Sharpie. And like I said, I'm going to have this say, stay close to those that feel like sunshine. And I'm going to write this out with pencil first, and then I'm going to add in my Sharpie. So once all that's on there, I have to decide which Sharpie I'm going to use, whether it's a regular fine point or like this ultra. I do like this one. I just have to be really careful to only use the tip on my teeny little words, but I do think it works really well for letters. So I'm just going to go through and outline all of my letters with Sharpie. I'll take the same Sharpie and I will make some of these areas just a little bit fatter on the word sunshine, just to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. And then when you're finished, you know what to do. Find a color that's going to show up on your canvas or a Sharpie and sign your name. I always put my initials in the bottom right corner. Make sure that you take a picture of what you're working on at home and post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Remember, I'm never going to get to see what you're painting at home unless you post it to my Facebook page. Be sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose. You are kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.